On COVID, you frequently say at your rallies and so on that you don't feel like you get enough credit on COVID. But by nearly every assessment, the CDC failed miserably at job one. And yes, the COVID vaccines were developed in record time, but as we now know, they don't prevent infection, illness, or transmission, and they have very potentially serious side effects. Do you think that maybe they were approved too fast? And in hindsight, based on what we know now, what would you have done differently?
Well, I think they're doing studies on the vaccines, and we're going to find out, and it'll come out one way or the other. But I really had a mandate to get vaccines done, and I got them done very quickly in record time. The Democrats love it. You know, the Democrats love it, and the Republicans don't. It's very interesting. The vaccines, they love it. I have a friend of mine who said to me, why don't you talk about the vaccine, what you did with the vaccine? He's a Democrat, but I'm sure he voted for me. He said, what you did was the most incredible thing that any president has ever done. You've saved hundreds of millions of lives all over the world. And this was just recently, very smart guy. He said, I don't understand why you don't talk about it. And I don't talk about it. But if you go to Pfizer, if you go to some of these companies, they have charts and they have all sorts of statistics. And I say, why don't you release those statistics? Let people know. But I don't talk about it. I can say this, the Democrats would love to claim it. The Republicans don't want to claim it. But it'll be determined, I'd say, over the next 12 months. I say this in terms of overall, I think I did an amazing job with COVID. I never got the credit for it. Remember that more people died under Biden-Harris than died under Trump. And they had a much easier time because when it came in here, nobody knew what it was. It came from the Wuhan labs, which I always said, but nobody really knew what it was, where it came from, nothing. They knew nothing. And we got hit. And I got great credit on military. We knocked out ISIS. We rebuilt the military. Great credit on military. Great credit on the economy. I never got great credit on the fighting of the China virus, which is COVID, but we call it the China virus because we like to be accurate. But if you think of what I've done, I took a disaster that came into our shores, that dust flew in from China, and we started making things like the ventilators. We were supplying the whole world with ventilators within a period of 7 months. We took auto factories and started making ventilators in auto factories. We did the gowns, the costume, all of the different things, all of the rubberized products, the masks, everything. And we also had to go because when I took over, the cupboards were bare. We had nothing. We were supposed to have, but we had nothing. And in all fairness to previous presidents, the reason is that nobody really thought a pandemic in this world, in this age, was possible. You remember 1917, we had the great pandemic that people talk about. 100 million people, they say, died. And basically, this would have happened here, too. And it didn't happen here. I think I did a great job. I think I will not be given credit for it. But there are a lot of people that think I did a really fantastic job on that. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew where it came from. And remember, we had far fewer deaths than Biden, and Biden just got the tail end. So we did a good job.
Precious!